Security is so important, and I feel like now more than ever.
Yeah, I really agree. I feel like most people that are reaching out to us are really looking for that extra level security. They're looking for guard gated, etc. And today we are very excited to bring an interview with Cello Towers' own Jennifer Holba to go over some really unique security features that we have not only in Cello Tower, but also in Symphony Park as a whole.
Yes. Hi guys, I'm Christina.
And I'm Kristen.
And we are the Thomas Group with Real Broker. And let's get straight into this interview with Jennifer. Thanks so much for joining us, Jennifer. We're excited to talk about security here in Symphony Park and in the Origin community. Can you go over that a little bit with us?
Absolutely, my pleasure. Symphony Park is really unique in that we have a 61-acre privately owned master plan. At the moment, we have multiple security teams patrolling the 61 acres 24 hours a day. One team patrols the Smith Center, the Children's Discovery Museum block. We have another team patrolling the block that we're sitting in right now, which is Park Haven. And there's actually three, because there's a third security team that patrols the Ulrich multifamily across the way. So we have the right to enforce a really clean and serene environment. And by doing that, we have roaming security 24 hours a day. For Origin and Cello Tower, which Origin is the 6-acre mixed-use district, we will have armed security, also 24 hours a day, that will be patrolling the grocery store, the restaurants, the multifamily downstairs. And then for Cello Tower, we of course have a secured building with more armed security.
Armed security, that's really interesting. That's very unique to have here in Las Vegas. There's not a lot of communities that do have
I
that.
can only think of a handful of communities that have it. And I bet that provides like such a sense of security to residents.
It is. It not only is it peace of mind, but it also offers quite a bit of privacy. And a lot of the owners that have already purchased in Cello Tower, they plan to use the home for a good portion of the year, but ideally they would like to travel, and they'll be gone for a couple of months perhaps. And it's nice to know that you can just lock and leave.
Lock and leave, 100%. I think that's really important to a lot of people looking at this type of product.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So how about when guests want to come visit? What does that experience look like?
So guests will have access to valet 24 hours a day. The valet will park their vehicle for them. It can be overnight if they're staying for a day or two or 3 or 4. And then guests will enter the lobby. The front desk will have a system that they'll go to. The resident will need to add the guest to the system as an approved guest visitor. And then the front desk concierge will either fob them up to the floor in which they're going, or the guest can wait in the atrium downstairs for the resident to come down and head to coffee or wine.
And then the front door, is that locked in the evenings, or how does that work?
So we are still establishing what the systems and procedures are going to look like. From personal high-rise experience, it would be my assumption that 7 days a week, the front lobby will be open, let's say from 7 a.m. until 7 p.m. or 9 p.m. And then at some point, they will lock, and residents will use a fob to get in. Kind of my assumption.
Standard, yeah.
We'll know more as we get a little bit closer to completion.
And what about, I assume that there's also going to be security in the parking garage?
Yes. So many cameras, security will patrol the parking garage, but please keep in mind that the parking garage is completely secured. There's a high-speed gate. So our building, you either valet park or you can self-park, which is rare.
That's nice.
Usually owners are committed to one or the other, and not everybody is happy. So if you were to self-park, our high-speed gate is fast. Right, up and down, and it's got cameras on it 24 hours a day. In addition to that, you will need a fob to get from the garage to the elevator corridor, and you will need a fob if you want to walk from our garage through the public garage to get to the grocery store. So
That is very secure.
Yeah.
Lockdown.
That's great.
Yep.
Yes. So we touched on, Origin and the Cello Tower security. let's kind of move out broader. I think one of the most unique features of Symphony Park in general is the private sidewalks. And like, I love this, first of all, because of how green this space is down here, but it has a really added benefit for security as well, right? So can you talk about that a little bit for us?
It is one of the fun features and a huge value proposition for anybody moving into Symphony Park in general. About 20 years ago, Oscar Goodman would drive by Symphony Park to get to his office every day, and same thing with Carolyn Goodman, our previous mayors. And he had decided that we needed to do something with this area. It was an empty 61 acres. So what he did was he made it into an opportunity zone, which privatized all of the sidewalks. That means that every developer that builds in Symphony Park owns their sidewalks, and they are required to maintain a peaceful and serene environment for guests and residents that are walking through Symphony Park. So our sidewalks are anywhere between 15 and 40 feet wide. They're brand new, they're tree lined, and they're monitored with either the 24-hour roaming security or the AI security, which are cameras, motion sensors, heat sensors, and speakers, all tapped into a system that's monitored remotely. If somebody were to come onto Symphony Park and there was some type of challenge or something that needed to be addressed, the cameras and motion sensors would pick it up and it would alert a 24-hour roaming team member to go and assess what's happening.
That's great. Gotta love technology.
It is. It's incredible. It's the opportunity zone piece with the private property and the private sidewalks is a unique proposition. It's this walkable environment with the Museum of Art, the restaurants, the grocery store that isn't going to have anything undesirable going on downstairs.
Yeah, it's hard to have that in downtowns. I don't know any other downtown that I've heard that has that. So what a unique feature,
right.
for sure.
Definitely elevates this area.
We're grateful.
Yeah, that's awesome. Thank you so much for all that awesome, important information.
Thank you.
Here we are with Andrew, one of our wonderful security guards here at Symphony Park.
We love security.
Thank you for keeping us safe. And thank you so much for watching. You can find all of our information at thethomasgrouplv.com, and we will see you in the next video. Bye.
Have a good one.